I'm Mike Gentry. I'm the gallery manager here at the Arts Council of York County, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Southern Gentleman exhibit we have up right now. Southern Gentleman is an exhibit that features Southern style artwork from local and regional artists. So in this exhibit we feature Kevin Morrissey, Robert Childers, and Walt Simpson. And all three of these artists have kind of a style that really exemplifies like Southern culture. And that's why these three artists were chosen to be together in our exhibit here in the Dalton Gallery. First, let's just talk about their imagery. Kevin Morrissey paints on saws, as you can see behind me. He uses a lot of Southern imagery, crosses, ghosts, angels. He uses these little images, very folk art oriented. Next, we have Robert Childers, which I'll show you in a minute. And he does very stylized paintings of musicians and different characters in his community. Walt Simpson paints scenes of rural houses, American flags, and just things that, really show off like the localness and the local connectivity and about neighborhoods and being, friendly with your neighbor. So first, we're going to talk about Kevin Morrissey. As you can see, he paints on old mill saws. He has lots of different imagery, these flowers, these ghosts, these little skulls, crosses, hearts, and it really shows off like the farm hand, the rural hand, because he's using these saws as his substrate, straight out of like people's closets and tool sheds. And a lot of his statements have to do with like religious connections. Like the one you're looking at now says, "Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace." And behind that it spells out peacemaker. And you can see even in the text that he does, it's almost graffiti art or even tattoo art that he shows off in his own style. So he has a lot of different inspiration, not just Southern culture, though that's a very strong element of his work. Over here you can see he paints on a variety of saws and mill instruments of woodworking and such. In this next piece, he has this depiction of an angel, which is very traditional and comes from old cemetery gravestones here in the South. He also here paints on even smaller instruments like wrenches and hammers. Next, we're going to move on to Robert Childers' work. Robert Childers' work is a little bit more outside our art style. He developed his style on his own, from being inspired by comic books and people he saw around him. Here you can even see him painting on another untraditional substrate, skateboard decks. He has this loose, free style to his work, and just tiny bits of imagery like a banjo or a halo or a heart that, just has like specific imagery. He also paints on drum heads, and you can see in this piece with the pig on it, with a hog on its face, he's got text. And in this text is directly taken from an old folk song, and when he came to drop off the work, he sang this folk song to me. So he's also very inspired by his musical background, because he himself is a musician as well as his father, David Childers. Here we have a few more pieces that he painted specifically for this exhibit, 4 different paintings of musicians. He's a fabulous mark maker, and just the way he paints in his specific style, it's just so like approachable but so emotive at the same time. Next, we're going to move on to Walt Simpson's work. As you can see, he paints images of rural homes, mostly single homes by themselves out in the landscape. And these are actual places here in the South that he's visited. He's from Lancaster, South Carolina. And he himself as well paints on a little bit of an odd substrate, like these wooden planks that he'd found. And then he has this piece of American flag titled American Neighborhood. And this piece is painted on a scrap of wood he found, and it's framed very nicely in this rustic wood frame. What I find very interesting about Walt's work is that it has so much color and brightness in it. He's not exactly going for the realistic, hues that you would see in real life. It's a little exaggerated to give it a little bit more character. And these are like common mill houses you'll see in quiet rural towns around South Carolina. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little talk about the work and this exhibit, Southern Gentlemen. So please stop in and come see it. It's up until February 11th. So come on by and come see us here at the Arts Council of York County. Thanks.